That skill presents volume. The volume of a three-dimensional shape is a measure of the amount of space contained in it. Let's talk about a specific type of a three-dimensional shape called a prism. A prism has got two polygon sides. So here's the top side, which is a polygon. And here's the other side on the bottom. And the two polygons are identical. And they are connected by rectangular faces. The planes of the two polygons are parallel and the rectangular faces are exactly perpendicular to each of the polygon face. The polygons that I have drawn here have got 6 sides on them, but a prism can have polygons with any number of sides. If you have a triangle, it's called a triangular prism. If you have a square on the two sides, you have a square prism, and so on. As because the polygons can assume any shape, let's say the area of the polygon shape, whatever that is A. And let's also say that the height or the length of the prism is h. The volume of the prism is given by the formula, the area of each face, the polygon face, that's A multiplied with the height or the length of the prism. And now we are in a position to talk about a few special types of prisms. In a triangular prism, the two polygons assume the shape of two identical triangles, and therefore the volume is given as the area of each of these triangles, area of one triangle, multiplied with the length of the prism. So if you know this length, let's call that L. And if you know the length of any of the sides on the triangle, let's call that B. And if you also know the perpendicular distance of the opposite vertex from the base, or the length that you know, this angle has to be a 90 degree. Let's call that H. The volume is given as 1/2 times base times height, that is the area of the triangle, 1/2 times B times H times the length of the prism. In a rectangular prism, the two polygons at the two ends are in the shape of two identical rectangles. So if you happen to know the length and the width of the rectangle, you can find its area. And if you know the distance between the two rectangles, you can call that the length or the height of the prism. Let me name it as H. We already have a L over here. And therefore the volume is given as the area of one of these rectangles, that is L times W, multiplied with the distance between them, which is H. You can think of a cube as a special type of a rectangular prism in which the length and the width of the rectangle, as well as the separation of the distance between the two rectangles, they're all the same measure. So if this one is a L, so is this one and this one, and therefore the volume is given as L times L times L, which is L cubed or L raised to the third power. A cylinder is a special type of a prism in which the two polygons at the two ends assume the shape of two identical circles. The radius of this circle is the same as the radius of this circle. Let's call that R. Let's also say that the height or the length of the cylinder is H. Therefore, the volume of the cylinder is the area of the circle, that is pi times R square, multiplied with the height or the length, H. Let's look at a few examples at work. Let's say we have a rectangular prism whose length is 4 centimeters and width is, let's say, 3 centimeters and the height is 2 centimeters. Its volume is going to be equal to 4 centimeters multiplied with 3 centimeters multiplied with 2 centimeters. As easy as that. Be careful about the unit. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. I guess no problem with that. And then because a centimeter multiplies with itself 3 times, we have a cubic centimeter or a centimeter cube. Let's say we want to find the volume of a cylinder whose radius is, let's say, 10 units, a certain unit of length, and the height is equal to, let's say, 16 units. The volume of a cylinder is given by the formula. We know that pi r square h. So this is going to be equal to pi, which is a constant 3.14, multiplied with the square of the radius. So we have a 10 square times the height, which is 16, which is equal to 3.14 times 100 times 16, and that is equal to 3.14 times 100 is 314, and that multiplies with 16. So that gives us 5024 units cubed or cubic units.